Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. Good early morning. I went to bed last night. Everything was fine. I woke up this morning. There was a Wall Street Journal article about Elon Musk being replaced as CEO or Tesla searching for that, along with very, very firm denials from both Elon and from Robin Denholm, and thereby the Tesla board of directors. So let's take a look at this. I had Grok help me out with, kind of organizing thoughts and things like that. So key points, Tesla is not currently looking for a new CEO based on the company's official statement. We'll look at that in just a second. There was a recent report by the Wall Street Journal again suggesting otherwise, but Tesla has denied it, creating some controversy. The evidence leans towards Tesla standing by Elon Musk as CEO, given the chair's public denial. So I'm mostly going to cover what has gone on here this morning, because obviously I am not on the board of directors. If I was, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. But anyway, I don't have any more evidence than what is out here, but it's quite clear from Tesla's Q1 earnings report, which you can check out up here. I did a video on that. If you're interested, I'll put it at the end of this video as well. If you don't happen to know, things, are not going particularly well. The stock is also in the doldrums as well. So it's reasonable to think that there would be pressure from the board and from stockholders to make a decision about Elon Musk for him either to reassert that he is staying with Tesla and focusing more on that, or moving away from Tesla and doing something else, both of which are completely fine options, obviously, from both Elon and from the Tesla official, post by Robin, and from an interesting statement that I called out at the time that Elon specifically said that he was going to be staying at Tesla and refocusing on Tesla during their Q1 earnings report. And I think that was not an accident. I think that actually does have to do with what this report is about. But anyway, the upshot of all of this is that Elon is staying at Tesla as far as anyone can tell, that maybe something happened earlier in March, that Tesla could potentially have reached out to some firms for a replacement CEO, but whatever happened during that period of time, if anything happened at all, and we don't know that, whatever that is has been put to bed, and Elon is firmly at the helm at Tesla. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that depends entirely on you, but that's the TLDR at this point. So I'm going to look at some takes on the report. Unfortunately, the Wall Street Journal is behind a paywall. That is very, very annoying. I really, really don't like that. And I kind of refuse on principle to pay for that kind of thing. So I will have to take chunks from other people writing about that. But anyway, I'm going to start with the denial because apparently this was given to the Wall Street Journal prior to them publishing the article. And that's the most reprehensible aspect of this, is if they did in fact have access to a denial, they should have published that along with the article. Anyway, you can see here at 1:23 a.m. my time, so that would have been, 10:23 p.m. West Coast time, 12:23 a.m. So this is an interesting thing here, right? We've got not only an actual statement, official statement from Tesla. Tesla never does this thing, but also the middle of the night, right? Midnight-ish Central Time. Anyway, earlier today, there was a media report erroneously claiming that the Tesla board had contacted recruitment firms to initiate a CEO search at the company. This is absolutely false and was communicated to the media before the report was published. That is very damning. I mean, the Wall Street Journal has the right to publish something if they find evidence for that. That's the free press. But they also have the responsibility to publish that Tesla has denied this report. I don't know if they have amended their article at this point to include that or not, but apparently that was not the case at midnight last night, Central Time. Anyway, the CEO of Tesla is Elon Musk, and the board is highly confident in his ability to continue executing on the exciting growth plan ahead. Robin Denholm, who is chair of the board. And then Elon quote posted this. Wow, it's gotten another 2 million views since I looked at this an hour ago. Anyway, it is extremely bad breach of ethics that the Wall Street Journal would publish a deliberately false article and fail to include an unequivocal denial beforehand by Tesla board of directors. As I said down in my reply underneath that, running the article assuming they had evidence of what they claim is fine. I mean, that again is the free press. Not putting in an official denial told to them prior to publication is reprehensible. There should be consequences to lies of omission. So, free press has the right to exist, but also it has the responsibility to report the news. And part of the news is that Tesla specifically denied this report. All right, so with that being said, let's look at the original here. This is from Fred Lambert, who gets a lot of crap in the Tesla community. I think this is actually a reasonable article on his part, and you'll see what I'm talking about at the end from his take on this. Anyway, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal, Tesla's board has taken steps towards potentially seeking a new CEO to replace Musk. To say the least, Tesla's board of directors has been extremely favorable to Elon Musk, Tesla's largest single shareholder and longtime CEO. That is very very, very true. I mean, his brother's on the board, so clearly they're going to be relatively favorable to him. And Elon also has a lot of shares in the company, so he has a lot of power, and he's on the board as well. I'm not going to read this entire article. I will leave a link to it, of course, in the description. But the next interesting part of this is that Tesla's then third largest individual shareholder after Musk, Leo Kogwan, told Electric last year that he couldn't get his concerns about Musk heard by the board. So that is an interesting factor. It's, again, not surprising because, again, the board is very, very friendly to Musk. There has been controversy about that over the years as well. Take that again. Your opinion will vary depending on how you think about all of this stuff, but it is a fact that they're very, very tight with Elon. And then we get to the content from the Wall Street Journal. It suggests that the board started to move against Musk for the first time last month. It seems like it would have been early March, according to the article. Some main points with quotes, according to unnamed sources, which is always scary because it could literally be me. I could be an unnamed source, anybody could be an unnamed source. But anyway, that's what we've got. According to unnamed sources, Tesla's board reached out to executive search firms to look for a new CEO. Quote, board members reached out to several executive search firms to work on a formal process for finding Tesla's next chief executive, according to people familiar with the discussions. So again, unnamed sources, but that's the report that we have. The board reportedly met with Musk and asked him to spend more time on Tesla. That is, again, probably not a surprising thing that they would ask for that, given how distracted he has been recently. Quote, around that time, Tesla's board met with Musk for an update. Board members told him he needed to spend more time on Tesla, according to people familiar with the meeting, and he needed to say so publicly. And if you think about what happened in the Q1 earnings report, that would be the public statement about that, the public commitment. So that, again, does not seem that far off the mark that he would have made a statement like that due to the board requesting that. After Musk committed to spending more time at Tesla, it's not clear what is the current status of the search for a potential new CEO. My assumption from all these denials is that it is dead at this point, but that would be what I would guess, but I'm just reading the article here. Quote, the board narrowed its focus to a major search firm, according to people familiar with the discussions. The current status of the succession planning couldn't be determined. It's also unclear if Musk, himself a Tesla board member, was aware of the effort or if his pledge to spend more time at Tesla has affected succession planning. I would say yes. Musk didn't respond to requests for comments. That's interesting. Musk didn't respond because he probably wouldn't have prior to the publication, but Tesla did respond. According to them, they responded to these requests. So that's really interesting. This I also find interesting. Quote, the 8-person Tesla board has been looking to add an independent director, according to people familiar with the process. In other words, there may be a feeling that it's a little too cozy there and they need somebody from the outside to be on the board of directors. I volunteer if anybody wants. I'm outside the group, so anyway, I really doubt anybody's going to care about having me on the board, but I'm just saying. And then we get to some juicy stuff. The Wall Street Journal has reported seeing text messages that Musk sent to someone telling them that he doesn't wish to be CEO at Tesla anymore. Last spring, so I assume that would have been spring of 2024, or maybe it's a little unclear about that. He told the person he no longer wanted to be CEO of Tesla, but that he was worried no one could replace him atop the company and sell the vision that Tesla isn't just an automaker, but the future of robotics and automation as well. So again, unnamed sources, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's very interesting and juicy if true. I could understand, Elon being a little tired of all of this stuff and wanting to move on and do other things in life. But if he can't find a replacement, then he's going to feel responsibility for remaining at the helm for as long as it takes. Also of note, the board reportedly told investors that Musk wasn't as well aware of what's happening with Tesla as he used to be. In other words, he requires briefings and things like that now, where he used to be much more involved in the daily details. So that also is an interesting factor. And again, not surprising given how many hats he's wearing. In fact, Elon recently posted a meme about himself wearing many hats. So, not a surprise, but it is something that I'm sure they would have called out to him, that he's not as aware of the daily goings on as he used to be. And of course, we get a nice screen grab of the meme of him wearing many hats. And the key part of Elon's quote from the earnings report, starting next month, I'll be allocating probably more of my time to Tesla. And now that the major work of establishing the Department of Government Efficiency is done. So in other words, he's saying that he'll be spending 1 to 2 days a week on Doge, but spending the rest of the time, I would assume, mostly at Tesla, although he still is at SpaceX and Neuralink and Boring Company as well. And then Fred Lambert's take, I'd take the report with a grain of salt. A lot of it makes sense, but there are unnamed sources, and this could be as simple as the board floating the idea of replacing Musk. So more than likely, that's what's going on here, is that if there was any movement of this variety, it was just exploratory. It wasn't something where they were actually making for real plans. They may have just, been casting around just to see, to think about the future, and that Elon in the meantime reiterated his commitment to Tesla and the fact that he would be staying with Tesla, and that sort of put this matter to bed. And thus, if it was something the board was concerned about and floated the idea for, that idea has been, put to bed because Elon has reiterated his commitment to Tesla. And finally, just to return to this official post from Tesla from Robin Denholm again, note this was the middle of the night. It would have been midnight Central Time. I'm not sure where she lives. It might have been 10:30, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's very, very off hours, no matter where she was at the time. And of course, Tesla's official headquarters is in Austin. So that would have been basically 12:30 a.m. official Tesla time. And this is unusual in terms of timing. It's also very unusual in the fact that Tesla never comments on this stuff. So clearly they thought that this was an important enough event that they needed to get ahead of it and officially deny it as quickly as possible, which again is something that Tesla usually, they stay out of the fray normally. So clearly this article really had an effect, where most articles, there's a lot of negative articles about Tesla out there every single day, and they don't respond to any of those things. So the fact that they responded to this Wall Street Journal article is just, again, take it as you will, but I think it's a significant data point that they felt it necessary to get in front of this story and deny it immediately, especially before the stock market opens today on Thursday, May 1st. Alrighty, folks, so that's the report as we know it at this point. It appears the Wall Street Journal was irresponsible in not publishing Tesla's denial in the original article. And of course, without named sources, it's unlikely we're ever going to find out what the real story behind all of this is. I have a feeling that there's a grain of truth in there that the board may have just, asked. They may have said, hey, let's throw out some ideas. Let's talk to some of these executive search firms and just see what's up. But that they were never actually moving towards replacing Elon. They just kind of looked around a little bit. And the Wall Street Journal caught wind of that and probably blew it out of proportion to make an article that would get a lot more clicks, which I'm guessing it actually did. Alrighty, so that's what I've got for you this morning. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think about all of this and your opinion on whether it would be a good thing or a bad thing, or whatever your opinion is. Just remember to keep things constructive down there in the comments. They can get a little out of control. While you're down there, if you don't mind liking the video, it really helps other people find it. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.